Hi everyone and welcome to episode 11 of the beta battle at Aston Villa with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. We've got 4 matches left to play this season, 2 today and 2 in the next episode. Chelsea and Everton come up for us today. We are guaranteed pretty much somewhere between 5th and 7th in the Premier League, but with West Ham 4 points clear of us and Tottenham 4 points behind us, but with 2 games in hand, we're going to have to change our poor run of form to get any higher than 7th. Can we do that today? Let's find out. Here we go again. So nothing has happened since you and I were last together because we've continued to play each and every game in the run-up to the end of this season, our one season in charge at Aston Villa. The last couple of fixtures haven't gone our way at all. Leicester and Brighton both beat us away from home. We've got a home match against Chelsea, away match against Everton. Let's not faff about anymore. Let's go and do these. So for the first match against Chelsea, we can pretty much name our first 11. The only player that's still missing at the moment is Target. He's just coming back from an injury issue. He's still unfit, unfortunately. Hopefully, should be there for the Everton match. We'll see. But everybody else is fit enough to take their position in the starting 11. We've got 9 players on the bench, so ready and raring to go. So we're going in with Martinez in goal, Cash at right back, Young at left back, Konsa and Mings in central defence, Louise and McGinn in central midfield, Buendia on the right, Bailey on the left, and Delap and Ings up top. So let's get into the first match and see what happens. Because Chelsea beat us in the last game that we played against them, I've pumped the fist and I've said, let's go and get revenge on them. Let's go and get our own back on them, basically, create a good performance. We're sending the assistant to the tunnel interview. We're going to skip the intros, get straight into the fixture, and we'll see how we get going on this first game of this double header for today's episode. There'll be a double header on Monday to finish off the season, and that will be us done for Aston Villa. And within a minute, Chelsea have gone one up. The form of this Villa side has been completely atrocious for the last couple of months, really. We got off to a really good start. We were up in like 3rd position at one point and looking really decent, but yeah, few injuries along the way, few changes through resting players, etc. And the form has gone, the morale has gone, the momentum has gone, and we've got really, really hard teams to play. Chelsea, Everton today, Arsenal and Man City on Monday's episode to finish it all off. If we were to lose all 4 of these matches, there is a chance that Chelsea could potentially come up behind us and overtake us in the lead. In the league, should I say, and we might finish in 8th position. That would be a disaster because that would take us out of the European spots that we've been fighting for all the way through this season. It's not been fun this last few episodes, to be honest. It feels a little bit like whatever I try doesn't seem to quite get the response from the players just at the moment, unfortunately. And now, as I say, we've got the added issue of some really tricky games. Delap over the top, though. That's a really good ball through, but he was pushed wide by the Chelsea defenders. And he's out on this right-hand side. Buendia in support. Gets a chance to cross the ball in. That's a really good effort from McGinn along the floor from the top of the 6-yard box. And they tried to get it or claw it away. They did get something on that, the Chelsea defence. But they couldn't quite change the trajectory of the ball. And it does go in the back of the net for 1-1. It was a good attempted block. But unfortunately, it took it away from the goalkeeper. And we do get back on par, which is really good at this point. 22 minutes in, it's not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting Chelsea to start showing their dominance and pulling away from us a little bit. Excuse me. They've had 6 shots at goal, 1 on target, 2 and 2 for us. So conversion rate out of what we've done is very good of putting it actually on target. Let's see if we can continue to create, though, as this first half continues. Half an hour gone, Bailey in. And he should have done better. That was a chance that's going to really come back to haunt us if we don't get the points away from this game. That was a really good chance. Down the left-hand side of the penalty box, he had a really good effort, but it was just inches away from that post, and it went out and wide. And we might regret that one later. Chelsea again on the ball, building up from the back. Azpilicueta in his own penalty box, just taking his time, waiting to try and draw us onto them. And there we go a little bit. We are beginning to do that. Is that going to create some space behind us? Lukaku getting involved in the play, switches to play out to the left-hand side for Werner. And he does travel right the way down to the byline, then gets held up, drops the ball back into midfield again. We're keeping shape, but we're not keeping up with their players as much. There's a lot of... we don't have a lot of pace in through the centre point of our team, it feels like. And sometimes we can be done by that if the team that we're playing against has got lots more than we have. And you can see just every time that a Chelsea player moves, they seem to move away from my defenders, etc. And just create us a little bit of a problem. But anyway, we reached half-time at 1-1. 6 shots at goal, 4 on target for us, 7 and 1 for them. Their one shot they got on target, they put in the back of the net. They've had more possession than we've had. We've got a better XG rating than they have. Remember that Bailey shot? We should have got something from that, really. So let's go into the dressing room. We're going to tell them they're doing okay. We can't dig them out too badly for this one. We'll say, let's go with... let's point the finger and say you've been unlucky so far. So it's a little bit kind of, little bit in their face, but not too much, but with a positive message of you can do this. There is a performance in you. We're going into the shouts just to say, to fire them up, should I say. Perfect opportunity for me to tell you that, as I say, we've got one more episode of this to come. I'm reaching the climax with my Borussia Dortmund series over on twitch.tv/the United City FM as well for the beta. And then next Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever the game officially drops and whatever time of day it is, might depend when I put new stuff out in and around the official launch of FM next week. But somewhere around Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll have a new series starting here of Rolling in the Isles, the British Isles Journeyman series that we're going back to here, which I'm really looking forward to. And we've also got a Nordic Glory Hunter series called Road to Valhalla starting over on Twitch as well. So come and join me on all of that lot. 73 minutes in, we're going to have to pause the match and make a couple of changes. It's gone very quickly in this second half. Not much of a highlight to talk about. Few shots at goal for each side. So we're still in the game. Can we make some changes here that is going to impact it? So we're going to take Delap off and put Watkins on. We're going to take Luiz out and put Nakamba on. And we're going to take Bailey out, who's just coming back from injury, and we'll put Al Ghazi on. Just to see what he can do for these last few minutes. Couple of players are absolutely very lucky to stay on, but ultimately we can only take a few off. And those are the choices that I've made. There are at least a couple in there that are struggling for match fitness, so might have to get rested in the Everton match before we play Arsenal and Man City. That's the balancing act. This starting 11 is good. The second 11 not so good. And when you rotate them in, it doesn't work as well. So we've found that all the way through this second half of the season, unfortunately. It's been our downfall. Buendia putting in a shift for us down on that right-hand side. He has still been the superstar of our show for this season, really. With the likes of Danny Ings really struggling to consistently get goals. It's Buendia that's been the creative influence and putting the ball away occasionally, but really is the player that's put our game together for us. Has got by far the highest average rating of this season so far, even though he might not be having the best of games today. But even so, he's having a better game than everybody else again, isn't he? 7.2 he's on, compared to everybody else on a 6 point something, pretty much. So he has been the superstar. With a few minutes left to go, it's still 1-1. Chelsea have got the ball, but we win it back and boot it clear, but straight back to them, unfortunately, and they come back at us down the right-hand side, and they get a chance to work it into the box, and they get a goal. With 2 minutes to play, Romelu Lukaku at the back post gets a really nice, easy header, really, from a good cross in on this near side of the penalty box. Pulisic is the one that does a lot of the danger work here. Gets the ball back, first time cross in. Lukaku at the back post just rises above his marker, and he's a beast. He's an absolute beast, isn't he? And so you give him that sort of chance at the back post, he's going to take it, and that's going to win the points for Chelsea, it looks like. And it is. There you go, full-time whistle. It was just in the dying seconds. We couldn't really do too much about it after that point. But this is my issue. It's been the issue for a long time. It's exactly what I was saying a minute ago. Buendia on a 7.7. McGinn supporting him with a 7.1 because he got a goal. Look at the rest of them. Danny Ings, 6.6. Mings at the back, 6.8. There's just nothing there. They're just not fair. They're not playing well enough. And they're almost not good enough, which is bizarre. Those two players specifically, Mings and Danny Ings, I was expecting so much more from this season, and we really haven't got it. But anyway, that's going to do that particular game. We've got another one to play against Everton in the Premier League. I think it's away from home, so that's going to be tricky. But they're sitting down in 14th, so let's go and see how we do against them. So we'll go and check out exactly what's happened in the table after we've played this second game, after that unfortunate game against Chelsea, really, where we lost in the last dying seconds a second ago. But for today's match, the second match, should I say, against Everton in the Premier League, there was a little bit of a dilemma in selection. We brought Matthew Targett back in at left back, which is brilliant because he's by far our best left fullback. So he comes back into the side. We saw Buendia was struggling a little bit with his fitness at the end of the game against Chelsea, just a bit, but was also our best player. And I and ahed about whether I take him out on this particular match and give him a rest against Everton and then try and play him against Arsenal and Man City to get a better result there, or whether I flip it and play him against maybe the slightly weaker opposition in Everton and try and claim those 3 points here that can take us a little bit, give us a little bit more momentum leading into the Arsenal-Man City game, where we might have to rest him in one of those possibly. It was a bit of a dilemma. Eventually, I decided, let's play him at this point and see if he can help us get the 3 points. Everton, down in 14th position, roughly, and we can do this one, it feels like, compared to the other games that we've got around to play. So we're going full strength pretty much for this one. And then, as I say, we might have to rotate a little bit in one of the last two fixtures, but we'll see about that one. So for this second game of the episode, we're going in with our first 11 pretty much. Martinez in goal, Cash at right back, Targett at left back, Konsa and Mings in central defence, Louise and McGinn in central midfield, Buendia on the right, Bailey on the left, and Delap and Ings up top, and a 9-man bench all ready and raring to get involved if they are needed. So let's get into the second game of the episode and see what happens. So because it feels like I've tried everything else to get a performance out of this group of players for the last month or so of this season, and it hasn't worked, I thought I'd try a completely different tack in this one. So we've gone outstretched arms, really positive, and just said, go out and enjoy yourself this evening. We'll see whether that works, because nothing else has for ages. We go through the tunnel, send the assistant, get straight into kick-off for this match. This is kind of important. With Arsenal and Man City still left to play for the last two matches of the season, it feels like this is our big chance to get another 3 points on the board and properly cement ourselves in these European spots. Chelsea are coming for us. That is the big problem we've got. We've got Tottenham around us, West Ham around us, and we're struggling to cope with those two. If Chelsea get in on the conversation, having beaten us and drawn some points back on us in the last match, if they get back in the European conversation, we are out of it potentially if we cannot get some more points here. So somehow something's got to give. Today, we need it kind of to be now, really. Everton are playing at home, obviously, and they've got off to a brilliant start. They got to a fantastic start. They haven't scored a goal, but 69% of the possession for the first 20 minutes. 6 shots at goal, only 1 on target. We have yet to register a strike. There's our first one off target. And it's not the performance you're looking for when you're absolutely in a dogfight to see if you can get to where you want to be. This group of players, they've just dropped completely. It's bizarre. How's your saves going? Let me know in the comments below. Have you struggled second half of the season with fitness, or have you had a drop in your momentum and morale for your team? Or has it been plain sailing all the way through? Have you dominated and won everything? What sort of teams have you been playing as? I'm interested to know, because my experience of the FM22 beta has been, there's been a lot of really good quality of life improvements as we go one up, which is amazing at 25 minutes. There's been a lot of improvements to the game here and there, little tweaks. But it's been really challenging for me with the two teams that I picked in Dortmund and Villa to get through a long season with them. They've got some brilliant players. They've both actually got some really ordinary players as well. So it's been quite a challenge. But yeah, let me know how you're getting on. But that's brilliant. 26 minutes on the clock. We were 1-up. Danny Ings, the lesser spotted Danny Ings with a goal. He's been really poor this season. I'll take responsibility for not setting it up properly for him or whatever. That's part of my job. But I haven't been able to figure it out at all. I just can't get him on the score sheet. But there we go. We are absolutely in this game just at the moment. Half an hour in, though. Everton have got a chance to get back on us, and they're approaching the top of the penalty box. Iwobi on the ball, drops it off to Kenny on the right-hand side, gets pushed out a little bit wide, then puts the cross in. Good save by the goalkeeper originally. Ball comes back across him, and he manages to get there for the second one as well. Martinez keeping us in the game at that particular moment. They're still dominant in terms of possession and chances created. There looks like a foul, though, as a red card for their central midfielder, Allen, and he has been sent off at 35 minutes. So we get 55 minutes to play against 10 men. Can that help us turn this around and properly get us to 3 points? Or not, maybe. With 10 men, a free kick comes sweeping in at 41 minutes on the clock from Everton into the box. And our defence just stood there. Watch them. They just stood there. That's not my fault, surely. That's their fault. They just didn't react, didn't respond, weren't quick enough, weren't fast enough in their reaction speeds. And we go 1-1 against 10 men. They're going to come back and beat us, aren't they, with 10 men? Oh, here we go. Right, Danny Ings on the ball, right in the corner for us, and that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. We needed it desperately. 46 minutes on the clock. Ings was right down in the corner flag area, and he whips a left-footed cross into the 6-yard box, and his strike partner, Delap, is there, running in onto the ball, and he gets onto the end of it. Again, the defender doesn't cover himself in glory there for them either. And we do go 2-1 up just before half-time. So how do we now suppress this match? First off, we're going to go into the dressing room and be positive there. We're going to go in with outstretched arms. I'm happy with the performance. Keep it up. But we are going to make a change here. And it's quite a significant one. What we're going to do is we're going to try and keep the ball as much as is possible. So we are actually going to sacrifice one of our two very well-performing strikers. We're going to take Delap out, and we're going to put Courtney Hawes in, and we're going to push our two fullbacks up into wing-back positions. We're going to play Mings in a centre of a back three, if it will actually sit in there for me. There we go. And we're going to put Hawes down on that left-hand side. We're going to push Douglas Luiz up into a more central midfield area. And we're going to play this weird 3-6-1 kind of formation. And we're going to change it and try and keep the ball. So we're going to control possession as much as is possible and put it on cautious for now. See if we can just literally just pass them to death. Because the percentage of possession is all in their favour at the moment. We need to keep it now. So let's see if we can do that in this second half. We're going to go straight back in. And keep our fingers crossed that we can work this one out somehow. All we need is to keep the ball, and it's a corner to Everton. And it's all completely undone within the first minute of the game of restarting. It's Everton with a corner to the back post, and they get a goal. 10 men Everton have come back twice. Yeah. Good. 50 minutes on the clock. We're going to leave it as it is just for a few minutes, just to see if we can get some possession up a little bit and switch the momentum of the game just a little bit by keeping the ball. And then we are going to absolutely have to go back to a more attacking approach in a minute or two. So we're at 65 minutes. I feel like I've given it enough time. Not a lot has happened. We've kind of deadened the game a little bit. Where's Liam Delap when you need him? That might prove to be a mistake. But there we go. What we're going to do here, we're going to take... look at Mings on a 6.3. We're going to have to go back into a more attacking approach. So we're going to take Mings out, and we're going to put Watkins on instead, and we're going to put him up alongside Ings for the last little bit. The rest of it can pretty much stay as it is, although we will withdraw the wing backs back into full-back positions. Everything else can stay as it is pretty much. And we've got one more change that we can make, and we're going to take Target out and put Ashley Young in. He's struggling a little bit today, and I don't want to overload him having just come back from injury. So those are the changes that we're going to make, and we're going to go route one, I think, in a positive mentality, and just keep booting it up there and seeing if we can find any way to get something to drop for us. A little bit of desperation with 20 minutes still to play, 25 minutes still to play. Go into the shouts. We're going to demand more from them. It's another corner to Everton. This time the header goes wide, fortunately for us. They're still putting on a pile of pressure on us, really. For a team that are down to 10 men, they're still dominating possession. I'm not quite sure how they're managing to do it. Buendia drops the ball back. Cross comes in for us. And again, the header goes over the top of the bar, this time for us. At least we had a chance, which a little bit few and far between in this second half, it feels like. Everton have had 20 shots at goal. We've only had 9. That's not great for a team that have played a good chunk of this match against 10 men, really. Somehow, Everton have still managed to keep hold of this game. 10 minutes to go. They've made a shift up a little bit in what they've done. Can we find a route through? Doesn't look like it, does it? But here we go. Chance. Throw in down the right-hand side with a couple of minutes left of the game to play. Watkins on the ball. Buendia takes over. Drops it back to Douglas Luiz and has a long-range effort. And it skims over the top of the bar. Not by much, but enough just to not really worry the goalkeeper too much. Is that going to be our chance gone? We're only going to pick up a draw against 10 men. Oh, another really disappointing match. I'm kind of lost for words, if I'm totally honest. I've got nothing else to say about this group of players. Somehow, they're just not quite good enough, and they're not quite as good as I wanted them to be either. Selling Grealish in the summer, I thought they'd done some really fantastic business with the likes of Bailey, Ings and Buendia coming in. And one of those has done pretty well for us this season. And the others haven't really. But there we go. Let's go and check out what all of that means for the Premier League table. So it makes for quite interesting, if not challenging reading, really, with a couple of matches to go for us. There's teams around us that have still got loads to play. Tottenham are 3 games behind us, should I say, at the moment, with a 2-point deficit. So they're likely to leapfrog us. Chelsea have got a game in hand over us, and they're 5 points behind. And considering we now play Arsenal and Man City, the recent form suggests we're unlikely to get particularly any points from that, really, considering that Arsenal are up in 4th and City are up in 2nd. But we'll give it a good go, of course we will. But recent form suggests that's going to be difficult. Chelsea are a real danger to us at the moment. We're 3 points behind West Ham. They've got a game in hand over us as well. It looks like we're going to be really struggling in these next couple of matches to stay in these European spots. For the last little part of the season, that's been my attempt, really, is to try and stay in this top 7 and get European football for Villa. I'll be slightly disappointed if we lose out, to say the very least, but it looks like it's coming. You're going to have to join me for the next episode. If we go into the schedule, you'll see we've got literally 2 games left to play. You're going to have to join me for the next episode to finalise the season with me. Arsenal in 4th, Man City in 2nd. Oh, we're in trouble, aren't we? Look at that run of form. Oh, I think I'd have sacked me by now. Anyway, let's see how we end in our next episode. Another double header just to finish off the beta series in FM22. And then we will look forward with renewed vigour to a brand new series and putting this one behind us. Anyway, join me for the next episode. We'll finish it all off. Until then, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help me get seen by lots more people. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.